Greetings, my name is Scott Gould, and this is a series on how to use Maple. This series is designed for both new and experienced users, particularly users who will use Maple for more than just the occasional problem. This series follows the paradigm that in order to do math, you use clickable icons and a minimal number of commands. Let's get started. Okay, well, the first thing we want to do when we get Maple is we want to change some of the options that come with Maple, or to make sure they're selected to the values that we want. This particular video is using the newer interface from 2025. If you have the older interface, say from 2024 and before, you can look for a link to that version in the description. To find the options, select on File and then select Options. There are a bunch of tabs up here. The first one we'll click on is Display. Make sure the 2D input, the input display is 2D. Okay, and make sure the output is also 2D. Where it says always insert new execution group after executing, make sure I turn that off. Okay, under the interface tab, make sure the default is Worksheet. Okay, I actually like to set my default zoom to some value above 100. I'm going to set it to 125. Under automatic command completion, I prefer to set it so you can use tab to complete your command. Under the argument, I'm not a big fan of it. I turn that off. I also turn off enter triggers completion selection. Okay, once you've set up all these things, you can hit apply globally, and that will save it there. Under view, where it says markers, I make sure I turn them on, and you can see the markers on the side. One thing that you should be aware of is that you can restore files that are stored as a backup. Select File, Restore Backup. It will come up with the directory where all the backup files are stored. The problem is it doesn't have much information. Is this the most recently written document? I don't know. So what you do is you right click or double click. Under View, select Details, and now you can see, and if you click by Modified, you can see that this file, these two files were the most recently worked on documents from this particular Maple. Should you be keeping files? Well, that's up to you. If you do keep files, you will have gobs and gobs of them. How do you determine whether you're keeping files or not? Let's hit cancel here. Let's go back to File, Options, and under down here you can see Autosave every 3 minutes and to keep the files. The other option is not to keep the files, in which case if your Maple crashes, then what will be in the backup folder is only the most recent, only files that you've been working on that never got saved. Let's cancel this and look at the Maple layout. For example, what we have here on the left-hand side are the palettes. If you click on the title, you can see how they open up to show information and basically buttons that we will put into our worksheet. You can drag palettes around. Personally, I like this layout of calculus, then common symbols, then Greek. One of the things you also have are favorites. If there is a particular character that you want to like and keep into your favorites, you can, for example, let's choose this Sigma, right click on it and add to favorites palette, and it will add the favorites. You can then even drag this around and put it where you prefer it. If you don't like that in there, you right click on it and remove from favorites. Obviously, what we're going to do is in the middle, we'll be having all our this is where essentially all the information is going to be, and on the right hand side is the context panel, so that if I select File, New, there's our worksheet, there's our contact, and if we start typing things like 1 plus 2, it starts to show us options for this command 1 plus 2. Personally, I don't care for it, and I actually remove it. Going back here, can you add new palettes? Yes, you right click on a palette and you can see you can either remove a palette or show more palettes. If you click on a palette will appear. You can also collapse all palettes as well. In addition to can you move palettes around, you can move windows around. If I click and I drag this window over here, now it shows Untitled first, followed by the Maple Portal. The Maple Portal is actually quite useful. If you don't know where it is, you find it under Help, Maple Portal. There's also, I recommend the Quick Reference Guide as well. And this will show information such as the difference between the two modes and some of my favorite, which are keyboard shortcuts. This is particularly useful as people get used to using Maple quite a bit. What else is under Help? Well, on the web, you can find training, user forums, technical support. Where are some other useful things? Well, under Tools, you can add packages and unload packages, and you can do assistance that will help you do things like code generation and plot builder. Education is quite useful. Under here, you can list many different techniques that you might want to do. For example, what if you want to understand how to do single variable calculus, or again, an example of how to do derivatives or antiderivatives? That's all under education. So if we go back to our interface, there it is. I wrote 1 plus 2. I hit enter and the output is 3. If we want to plot something, we can say plot sine of x times x, and it will create its own image. You can save file to the desktop or a folder, file, save, save as, and you can place it on the desktop or put it somewhere in the PC. In the document associated with this video are web-based locations where you can find more help, such as the Maple Application Center. And again, one of my favorites is mapleprimes.com. If you go to mapleprimes.com and ask a question, you are way more likely to get a correct answer than if you go to some of the other technical forums that I've been. The next set of videos will probably use the older interface instead of the ribbon-based interface, but that shouldn't make any difference in how we enter and use Maple.